You're going to like this. Let me pull this picture up here. Okay? Here is, let me pull the article up so I can read it. Pope prays in front of skeleton dressed up as a nun. The person writing this article, it's on his blog. I've seen a lot of bones and skulls adored and venerated by the Roman Catholic Church, but I never thought I would see these skeletons dressed up like Catholic nuns, like St. Rose. Here is Il Papa standing before and praying to and venerating the actual dead body of a nun dressed up in her robes. And this particular blog, he's got several examples. St. Catherine of Bologna, okay, we eat a lot of that here. Fried, I love fried bologna. Oh yeah, but St. Catherine of Bologna, in the church there's a dead nun. The body, the carcass, the dried out, disgusting looking, teeth sticking out underneath the lips, skeleton remains with dried skin over it of a nun sitting there in her nun costume, in her nun outfit, and people go and they pray to this stuff. And apparently the head comes off and they put it in one of, you know how they build one of these big things that they adorn things in. They've got this nun's head sticking in there, and everybody goes, oh, Santa Maria, oh, da, da, da. And they pray to this stuff. What is wrong with people? They're dead. It's like necromancy is what it is. Necromancy was trying to get some sort of divinity from dead people. Okay? That's what they're doing. They're praying to St. Rose, St. Joseph, St. Agnes, St. Ignatius, St. this, St. that. They're praying to all these things. You know what? These people are dead. And more than likely, since they were Catholic, more than likely they're in hell. They're not even in heaven. They couldn't answer their prayers if they wanted to. They're too busy going, ah! That's what they're doing. That's the religion of Rome for you, and that is where everything is headed nowadays. Everything is headed right back to Rome, if you can believe that. Here is, let me get my face back on here so you can see me. Now you can see me. Everybody take a sigh of relief. Okay? Here is, I'm going to play the clip. James Robison. Now, I will admit, years ago when I wrote my first book, By Divine Order, I wanted everybody to notice the book, okay? And there was the possibility that the publisher said, maybe we can get this on some talk shows. You want to do some talk shows? Yeah, I want to do some talk shows. Okay? And I was watching James Robison, and I'm going, I wonder if I could be on James Robison. Okay? And I've watched him since then, and I'm going, number one, there's not a chance in the world that James Robison is going to have a guy like me on, because I'm going to say King James about every 5 words. But anyway, after watching this, I'm going, you know what? The guy's a sellout. He is an absolute sellout. And he keeps talking about, I was a Baptist minister. I was a Baptist evangelist. Okay? You hear him talk about that. And what he's doing, he ends up on Glenn Beck's program, sitting on Glenn Beck's couch. Now, there's something interesting about Glenn Beck's couch that I'm going to point you in the direction of today. But I want you to listen to Baptist evangelist James Robison. I want you to hear him talk about what a good guy Glenny Beck is. The guy that called me today, we were talking. He was concerned that maybe one of the videos had been pulled off YouTube. And I said, no, they haven't done that yet. And I said, there's been some people that raised a big stink about all their videos being pulled from YouTube. But the thing is, it's not necessarily been over some New World Order revelation that they had, that they pulled it off because they didn't want them to find out about it. It has a lot to do with copyright infringement. YouTube is getting really, really, really picky about copyright infringement. In fact, when I get done with this broadcast, I edit all of the music off of it, or YouTube throws a fit. Okay, they can't handle that. So he's asking me, you know, hey, do your videos get no, they haven't got pulled yet. And we started talking about Glenn Beck, and I will never forget the day I watched it. Okay, it was right after I started the Watchman broadcast and had thought about doing something about FEMA camps. Still got it in the wings somewhere. But I remember Glenn Beck getting on. This was at the height of his popularity. He gets on Fox and Friends in the morning, and they're talking to him, and they said, Glenn, what are you going to talk about today? And he said, I want to tell you something. He said, I kept hearing things about FEMA camps, and he said, I got my staff together, and he said, let's expose these stupid FEMA camp conspiracy theorists for who they are. In other words, let's debunk the myth. And he announced on Fox and Friends, he said, we found out information. He said, I'm going nuts so fast. I think they're real, and I'm going to talk about that today at 4 p.m. Central. We're going to talk about FEMA camps on my show today, Glenn Beck Show. And I'm going, oh, yeah. And then 4 o'clock Central Time comes around. Glenn Beck comes on. I was recording it. I went home and watched it, and he says, hello, Americans, this is Glenn Beck. You thought I was going to talk about FEMA camps, but I'm not. And he goes on and does something else. And he never brought it up ever again. And I'm going, I get it. I get it. Okay? I understand what happened. I don't know if somebody pulled out pictures of him. I don't know if they offered him more. I don't know. Okay? But one morning he gets up and says, I'm going to prove that they're real. 4 o'clock that afternoon he says, I was just kidding. Come on, it's ratings, you know. So anyway, here is James Robison, and you need to remember something about Beck. He's a Mormon. What does that mean? He does not believe in the same Jesus that you and I believe in. Or let's say me. I don't know about you. He does not believe in the same Jesus as me. They call him Jesus. But it's not the same Jesus. It's a different one. They don't believe in the same God that you and I have. They don't believe in the same Bible that you and I believe in. They don't believe the same way. It's a cult, is what it is. In fact, the true definition of the word cult means it comes from the word occult, which means there's something secret about it. And if you were to call here and ask Brother Bradley Crum, Bradley, can you tell us any of the secrets of the Mormon Church? And he said, well, I'll tell you everything I know, but there's some things they didn't tell me. Okay? I asked him one time, there's a Mormon temple right up here by Missouri Baptist University. And I said, I want you to take me in there. And he said, you can't go in there. You're not allowed. You're not worthy. They won't let you. I said, they won't let me in there? He said, they won't even let me in there. And he said, I had papers. And he said, they wouldn't let me in there. That's a cult. James Robison is dodging this issue. He won't say, now I know that Mormonism is a cult and they're all going to hell, but Glenn Beck's a good guy. That's not what he said. I want you to listen. I want to pull up the video and I want you to listen to what James Robison had to say, and then we're going to take a look at the couch that Glenn Beck's got on his stage.
Hello, America. I'm James Robison. I'm in for Glenn Beck on assignment, and he'll be back with a lot of news you'll want to hear. You don't want to miss Glenn anytime on GBTV. I never would have believed that I would be standing in as a Protestant evangelical in a studio that is hosted by a very caring American, I think a great man, not only highly gifted, but one who has concern for all the right issues. He's a Mormon. Mormons invested time and love in his life and helped him walk through addiction and alcoholism into a new life. We've become very good friends. But if you had told me as a Baptist evangelist that I'd be standing in Glenn Beck's studio and I'm about to talk to a Catholic, and then we're going to be talking a little bit later to a businessman who his family grew one of the largest businesses in the world. And then we'll be talking to a pastor from the largest or one of the largest churches in Russia, located in Moscow. I want you to know that if you grasp what we're going to be sharing today, and you get the significance and the importance of this book, being George Washington, and then I'm going to be talking to you about this book, Indivisible, which I wrote with Jay Richards, that I believe is going to help redirect us out of our present-day wilderness into the land of hope and promise and, yes, prosperity. These two books, if you grasp the truths in the books, I can promise you we are going to correct our national course. And many of you are focused totally on an election, and it's one of the most important in my lifetime, and I've been here 68 years.
Look at the couch.
But there's something that is even of greater importance, and that's understanding the direction that we must go and the corrections that must be made. And we've got to put people in place who understand direction and necessary correction, or we don't have a secure future. I believe there is hope, but I believe we're running out of time to make the necessary change. During this program today, we're going to be talking.
Now, let me stop right here, and I want you to grasp what should be the obvious. Okay, we'll talk about the couch in a minute. Okay, but let's grasp what should be the obvious. Okay, here is a Baptist evangelist, James Robison, and Glenn Beck, a Mormon, and then a guy he's going to have on there who's a Roman Catholic, and then he's got some others. He didn't really identify who they were. Okay. And they're all working together because, after all, we're all on the same side of this, okay? All working together now, okay, to change America. We're going to change America. Doesn't anybody get it? Okay? When did the Bible tell us that in order to save our country, we had to go along with everybody that does not believe the Bible? And that's one of the things that, for some reason, has been lost. It's been lost in evangelicalism. If you were ever part of that, I was never into that. It's been lost in most of the denominations. It's been lost everywhere. It's this idea that let's just forget about what divides us, okay? And it used to be this big fight between the Southern Baptists and the Free Will Baptists and the General Baptists and the Northern Baptists and the American Baptists.